Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, the VIX it was an inside day candle, and we have already reached the target to the down. Well, the trigger, let's say the trigger to the downside, but we're bouncing from here. So are we going to go back to the upside? That is the question, right? So where are our trouble places? As of right now, 2415 is a trouble place, which is the 50 EMA, 20 EMA. Let me rephrase that. Now, if we get above the 20 EMA, just know again that we're going to have trouble around the 2461, above 2461, 2491, and above the 2491 it brings us to the 200 EMA. Again, we're looking at the 30-minute chart. 2505 is a trouble place, which is kind of close to the 50 here at 2526. So those are going to be trouble places to the upside for the VIX. Now, if we break this 2526 area, just know the 2547 is the ATR trailing stop, which is really close to a previous, support area that we had marked, which is now our resistance at the 2567. So that 2567, 47, 26 area, I would definitely watch the VIX. If we get above that, we could have trouble to the downside for the SPY. So I'm going to put an alert to let me know if we should break above that level. Now, to the downside, can we continue down? We very well can. So if by chance we come back down and break under this 2312 area, 2312, 2321 area, if we break under this area, just know we can come all the way back down to the 2181, under 2181, 2151, under the 2151, 2136. So those are places that I would watch the VIX. Now, I look at the VIX because it kind of gives me an idea of where the SPY is. And the SPY is an inside day candle. We broke through the trigger and met the target already pre-market. We are declining, which is not surprising. I want to make this a little bit bigger so I can show you that it's so important to mark where your trouble places are, because SPY came all the way up to this gray shaded area, which we knew that it could, and got rejected at the 533.14. We had 533.11 marked as a resistance area, which is very, very close. So we are declining now. We could very well find support in a previous gathering spot, which was here at 529.35 down to 529.12, which is right here where the 50 EMA is. Yeah, that's why I say often it is so important to mark those gathering spots, because price normally comes back to that area, and it kind of helps us locate the moving averages actually, because here is the 50 EMA. So again, where are our trouble places for the SPY? If we lose support here at 529.17, the ATR trailing stop is right here at 528.83. Under the 528.83, 528.60 is a strong support area that I have marked for the SPY. If we break the 528.60, just know we can come all the way back to this 527.57, which is another strong support area that I have marked for the SPY, which is right where the 200 EMA is on this 30-minute chart. So I would say trade carefully today. If you trade the SPY under this 527.62, we can come all the way back down to 526.33, and under the 526.33, 525.84. So if you trade the SPY to the downside, those are places that I would look for trouble places. Now back to the upside, if we find support here at this 50 EMA at 529.18 area, just know we can bounce back and have trouble at 530.01, again at 530.37, 530.71. Above the 530.71, we can come all the way back to 531.29. Above the 531.29, 531.58. And if we break past the 531.58, just know 532.25 is going to be a trouble place, and 533.10 is going to be a trouble place for the SPY. So we could very well find support here and bounce back to the upside. But it wouldn't surprise me to see SPY back at the 514 area. I don't know if we remember this day here, considering this has been I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit bigger. This has been our gathering spot down here at the 519.79 all the way down to the 519.21. Price come back to this area 1, 2, 3 times. Again, it would not surprise me to see us back in the 519 area. Again, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. So if you trade the SPY today, trade carefully, right? So Tesla, it seems to be doing exactly what the SPY did. Tesla was an inside day candle. We almost reached that target. You know, if the trigger was above $200.07, would have given us a target of 203.49. We have pre-market high of 202.75. And I really need to remember that 202.75 area because something stopped Tesla right there, right? So we could very well come back and retest that area. So if you trade Tesla, I would definitely remember that 202.75. It looks like we're getting rejected. So where are our trouble places for Tesla? As of now, we can find support here, 197.69 or 197.75, which is kind of like where we are now. And price has been in this area before, as we can see here. Now, if we lose this area, just know that we can come down and find support here around 197.13, under 197.13, 196.40, which is where the ATR trailing stop and a previous support or resistance area that we had marked, which is this gray shaded area here. So if you trade Tesla today under 196.40, I would be careful because, you know, we could find support at 195.23, under 195.23, 194.56. Those are going to be trouble places for Tesla or support areas for Tesla. Now, if by chance we break under this 192.04 to the downside, our downside target is 191.48. And again, Tesla trade as it does, right? So anything is possible with Tesla. Let's see, it normally moves about $14.10 per day on average. So I say trade carefully if you trade Tesla today. Let's go to AMD. AMD is kind of declining. It seems like it's reached a high 136.82. 136.32 is where it closed. We reached a high of 138.14, so I would definitely remember that area. Why? Because we could very well come back and retest that. As of now, our trouble places for AMD, it's resting at 135, which is under where it closed. So we are at the 200 EMA at 135. Under that, we can have trouble here at 134.68, again at 134.59. Under the 134.59, 134.15. Under 134.15, just know we can come back to 133.45, under 133.45, 132.94 is, or 132.97 is going to be a trouble place for AMD. So if you trade AMD, I say trade carefully. It looks like it's breaking out of a gathering spot to the downside. Now we can find support and bounce back to the upside. So where are our trouble places to the upside? If we break back above the 138.14, just know that we will have trouble around 139.97, again at 140.52 and 141.03. I would definitely watch those places if I traded AMD. And let's see how much AMD normally moves. $8.61 per day. Again, that's in either direction, so trade carefully. Let's go look at NVIDIA and see where we are today. It seems as if NVIDIA hit a high of 109 here, traded in this zone here of 106.24 to 107.14. That was our trading zone. As you can see, price gathered in this area. We're losing that support here under 105.08 that we had marked as a previous support area. So our trouble places are here at 103.86, which is slightly above 104.29, which is the 50 EMA. So I would watch 104.29, 103.86, 102.92, which is the ATR trailing stop, and 102.46. Those are places for NVIDIA to the downside that I would watch if I traded NVIDIA today. I always say trade carefully. Under 102.04, we can come back to the $100.27. Under $127, $99.35. So those are places to the downside that I would watch for NVIDIA. Now, can we go back to the upside? We very well can. So if it breaks back above 107.14, just know we could have trouble here around 107.64, and above 107.64, 108.04. Above the 108.04, we can have trouble around the 108.52, and above 108.52, we can come back and retest the 109 area. So those are places for NVIDIA that I would watch to the upside and to the downside. Now, we do have some inside day candles that it seems like they reached the target pre-market. So Amazon is an inside day candle. We did break through the trigger and almost reached the target, but we did not. The trigger was at 166.65. We made a high of 167.41. The target was 167.65. Now, to the downside, if by chance Amazon breaks under the 162.75, just know 161.30 is the downside target for Amazon. And Amazon normally moves, let's say, about $7.59 per day. So if you trade Amazon, I always say trade carefully. Meta is an inside day candle. It too has already reached the target to the upside. It made a high of $512.47 or $512.50, around that area. So to the downside, if by chance we break under this level of 494.66, just know that the downside target for Meta is 486.80. And let's see how much Meta normally moves on average, $22.33 per day. Again, in either direction. It looks like we're losing support under this right now. The 499.94 is our support area. So I would watch that. If we break under the 499.94 area, just know that we can come all the way back down to 497.49. Under 497.49 area, we can come back to this 494.66. So I would watch Meta carefully. If I traded that today, again, it can move in either direction. Microsoft was also an inside day candle. It too has reached the target to the upside. Now, right now, the 401.31 is our support, which is the ATR trailing stop. If by chance we break under that, we can come back and retest 399.91. Under 399.91, we can have trouble here around the 399.35 area. If we lose that support area, just know we can come back and reach this downside target of 397.95. So if you trade Microsoft today, again, I say trade carefully. And Microsoft normally moves $11.76 per day on average. That is the ATR for Microsoft. So if I think the Qs was an inside day also, it was. So QQQ reached a high of 451.55, so we need to remember that. If by chance we lose support, we tested the 200 EMA. You see here we tested, bounced off of that, 444.95. Now if we lose the support of 444.95, we can come back to, let's see, here 443.32. Under 443.32, I will watch the 441.56. Under 441.56, I will watch 439.55. And under that, I will watch the 437.14. Those are places to the downside for the Qs. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see us back in this zone of 435.52 around this gathering spot. Why? Because this is where price has consolidated, as most people would say. I just call it the gathering spot because that's where price is gathering together. That's where the buyers and the sellers are gathered together. Let's say that. So yeah, QQQ is an inside day candle. I say trade carefully. I'm going to go back to the SPY just to do a recap to see where we are. Seems like the SPY has found some type of support right here at the 528.09 area, which isn't surprising because it's right here in the gathering spot here. So if I mark the bottom of this candle, where the wick is, and I'm going to see about, yeah, if I mark the bottom of where this wick is, and I'm going to move over, it's right here where our candles are gathered together. So it came back to the gathering spot to find support. And that is always important to know. So this is what the line that we just marked here. I'll see if I can make that a little bit bigger. This is the line that we marked here where the candle stopped. And it's close to the place of where our gathering spot is. So it didn't surprise me to see us back at this place. Now, if we break that area, just know the 527.63 is going to be a strong area of support. Why? Because it was a previous gathering spot and the 200 EMA. So we could very well bounce from here and go back up, or we can lose support and come back to the downside. So yeah, if you trade the SPY today, trade carefully. Y'all, I always say anything in the market is possible, but nothing is guaranteed. Trade carefully today and make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering your trades, and once it goes against your why, get out, live to trade another day. So yeah, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. Just know that we learn and we grow together. So if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Why? Because we learn and grow together. So I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.